Drawback time. It's Sunday afternoon. Christian Sile has the ball. He does the step over. He crosses the ball. The man from Venezuela, Edson Castillo Garcia, he scores. The stadium goes absolutely bonkers. The fans go crazy. Even after the game, they stay behind. They celebrate. It's the first win of the season. Surely no one can stop us now. Or can they? Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Bilo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. I'm a Khosi Football Club, and in this video we are previewing the DStv Premiership match between Kaizer Chiefs and TS Galaxy. Let's correct that. The DStv Premiership match between TS Galaxy and Kaizer Chiefs. Seeing that TS Galaxy at home, it's only fair to say their name first. Now, TS Galaxy has played 2 games, they've drawn 1 and they've won 1. No, that's correct that again. They've won 1 and drawn 1. They played against, the first game they played against Cape Town Spurs, and they won that game by an own goal. It was a free kick that was not dealt with well, and then TS Galaxy won that game. And then the second one, they played against the Chiefs, who are apparently drawing against anyone, because they draw against the Chiefs, they draw against TS Galaxy, they also draw against the Pirates, and now they are aiming to draw against the Mamelodi Sundowns. We'll see how that happens. But before we talk about Chiefs and how they're going to set up, let's just quickly look at TS Galaxy themselves. What do they do? Well, to understand the present, sometimes it's helpful to go back a bit. Now, there's this thing we played against TS Galaxy last season in Bombela. It was a very good game. It was well attended. I will be there tomorrow, so I hope it's well attended and we can vibe. But what happened is that you are there creating chances but not scoring them. And then they get a red card on the 52nd minute. Chiefs plays against them with one-man shot for 40 minutes. They fail to score a goal. And as we know, sometimes if teams go one man down, they go ultra defensive. So going back to that past, to what happened in the previous game, is also kind of reflective of how they can set up. But also half of the game they set up in that way because they were one man short. But what we do know about coach TS Galaxy is that they are, and they were, and they have been playing 4-2-3-1 even this season. Mind you, they lost 3 key players. They lost their goalkeeper to Orlando Pirates. They lost to Kevin Msimango to Kaizer Chiefs. They lost to Obas to Sundowns. Look at that. They lost a player from each line to one of the top 3 teams. They lost the number 1 to the one from Soweto, the other one Soweto, then the other one Pretoria. But they are managing because they have Umbunjana now playing a double pivot, no Bernard Parker, Lapeswini. They have this new kid, I forgot his name, who replaced Msimango. When I say kids to people that I am 2 years older than, who's replacing Msimango at the back. And they have seemed solid. And one thing that I've seen with the TS Galaxy that I kind of like about them and envy, because I want to see Chiefs do the same thing, is how they quickly get numbers forward when they are attacking. Because into the first 2 games, Cheaper versus Chiefs, and then Cheaper, Sundowns and Chiefs, what I didn't like about Chiefs is the fact that players didn't have enough support when they were going forward. But what I've seen with the TS Galaxy is that when they go forward, they immediately have 3 people in the box when the ball eventually reaches the front. And I'm not talking about when they just knocking the ball around and going to the box. I'm talking on transition. And that is something that I envy for Chiefs, but that's also something that I fear about TS Galaxy, because if they adopt the style of just sitting back and letting Chiefs come to them, then on transition they might hit us, especially down the side of Uhlanti, because Uhlanti does push up and then they can try and exploit that space. Doesn't push all the way up, but it pushes up high enough uguti the wingers of TS Galaxy, whoever will be playing on the right, can take advantage of that and run at him. And what might make the situation worse is if Utitloko, because I haven't had an update on him, is if Utitloko is injured, because that means Unjabulo Ngcobo will be playing as a left centre back. And we also know, as much as he's good on the ball, he's not the quickest. Look at what happened with him and Abu Bakar Nazir last season. So let's look at how Chiefs are going to set up, how I think they will set up and what I think and how I think they should set up. Yeah, there's a difference there. Also, while we're here, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. And also let me know what you think about the game and give me your match predictions. Let's go. So let's start with EE defense here too. EE defense here, Chiefs, it's a 5-man line. It's a 5-man defense. 5-man defense in a sense, Yoguti, I also count to Peterson. Why am I counting with Peterson? It's because of the same thing that I've been saying, that I said in yesterday's video as well. Sorry if you didn't watch. I said that one of the problems with Chiefs supporters that we don't understand is the fact that Peterson is part of the 4 defenders, because what he does, or what he's told to do, is since our team pushes up and then we're playing against a team that is sitting back, that is trying to hit us on a transition, he must also not stay on his line, he must also not stay on the small 18 area, but he must be at least in his D-line or even move further up depending on how far up the team is. Why do keepers do this? I feel like I have to explain this because it's clear that some people don't understand that. But as I said, Peterson, I've never seen the coaches say to him, go back to goal. Why do they never say that to him? That's because they are the ones who are instructing him to play like that, because they want him to deal with the balls that are played over and behind our defense, and he can go out and clear those balls. We saw him do it against Cape Town City. Now Rono and Williams, they're doing it with Sundowns as well, because I'm now trying to use someone else with little Sundowns, because maybe you'll hear that better. But goalkeeper, they're doing it all over the world. If a team is playing a high line, then the goalkeeper cannot be in goal, because if the ball is played over defense, then he must be there to sweep. Before, we used to have a mass sweeper, but because of offside, the defenders must be a single unit that is a straight line, so that we can play an offside trap. But now, since we no longer play systems that have a sweeper, like a number 5, Ozobuga, everyone in front of him, now we have to have a straight line. And because now we have a straight line, now the keeper plays as a sweeper. I hope that is understood. And then the next thing is that Frosla has been played really well as a right back. He has impressed me. He has Yabo Mangatua, who's the most improved player with Chiefs. He's definitely the one. He's definitely the most improved player, because one of the things that I was complaining about was his defensive ability and how he defended. I will say, Guti, it does seem like under Unsegi, the defenders are the fullbacks, Ushlant, Frosla. They push up cautiously, right? They don't overlap and just cause wide overloads, which is something that we need, because if we have Frosla running wide and playing with Umod Osaele in that wide position, and also a number 10 adding on, and we have this wide overload, it helps. But we see Guti, they are cautiously doing this. Guti Frosla, he overlaps, but he's kind of, observing what I must be careful, because if there is a counter, then I'm out of position. On the other side, with Ushlant, even though he's careful, pace still is some shy. And I did say this in the previous video, I will say this again. We need our fullbacks to still overlap if we want to have numerical advantage up front. I know people don't like fullbacks overlapping, but it's modern football, because when teams do defend, they're not just defending with a left back, 2 center backs, and a right back. They will also push their winger to go assist the left back. And once that happens, it's 2v1 on the winger, and now he's all alone, Usaile Ulahli ball. In moments where you have another person supporting him, then the winger is forced to stay on Frosla, and while the winger is staying on Frosla, we have a 1v1 with Usaile and the defender. So Usaile can do what he wants with Matlaba, Amchige, and try to get in the box. Or Umtanzane can go collect that ball. Now we have another 2v1. If a 6 is following Umtanzane wide, then that means the space in midfield. Castillo can go occupy that space. If they occupy Castillo, then Umat also has his space, is free. So basically, this constant movement and overloading on the side can actually cause teams to be disorganized. Because in football, I will say this again, it's not just about controlling the ball and having the ball, because you can have the ball all you want. But if you are not controlling the space and you are not creating the space for yourselves, you are not going to do anything with the ball. And do everything. Because teams, all they do is they shift around, go mark, mawubuyisa ibhola balibuyise ngapha. So there must be constant movement, and that is why I'm saying this cautious approach of pushing our fullbacks up is kind of kunama trade-offs. That's how tactics work. Ukuthi we're going to end up depending on space being open wide or behind our defenders, and that's kind of not going to work for us if we're playing against a team that's going to sit back, because if there's no space behind the defense, then all of a sudden Dupree, who we are going to talk about later on, does not have a space to operate in. Which brings us to Hlant. What do I think about Hlant? I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again. Hlanti, since we want, or Castillo, we see Uti going forward and combining going forward, it does really well. Hlanti should just be added as a double pivot in midfield because we don't have anyone else who can play left back. By doing that, you add Hlanti to kind of sit next to Matt or sit next to Castillo, and it allows those players to push further up, and it also kind of gives us people in midfield so that if they try to break through the middle, we have Hlanti. If they go wide, Hlanti will occupy the centre back position and the centre back will go and cover for him. So in that way, there's no tracking back, there's no Hlanti chasing after wingers, but that becomes a responsibility of a centre back because they just push wide because they're already at the back. So if the ball is played that side, they just have to move across, and then Hlant occupies that space, and in that way we're still maintaining our shape defensively, but at the same time we still have numbers in midfield. So that's how I think Hlant should be used, based on how he can play the ball on his feet, but at the same time he's kind of a liability when you're putting him at left back and asking him to overlap, unless he will also change the system and say, you know what, when we're attacking, we're setting up as a sort of a 3-2-5, because now we're going to have the 3, which is gonna be Umsimango, depending on Utitloko or Unjabulo Ngobo if he's there, and then Hlant. All the 3 of them stay back, and then Pamgwa we have Umat or Castillo, those 2, so it's 3-2, and then up front you have what? You have the 3 wingers, and then you have one of the midfielders adding. So in a way you have that 4, and then Frosler also adds, and then we kind of have that 5. So how most teams are setting up now in modern football, like Abo City, they are setting up in a 3-2-5 when we're attacking. So when you're trying to attack us, we have 2 people in midfield, but we still have 3 at the back, and that's good. That works for you. So those are the 2 options that I can see Hlanti being used at in a way that will benefit the team. And then in midfield, it's kind of a knock-on effect, Vele, in what I was talking about, Tuguti. We are going to need a creativity in our midfield if TS Galaxy decides to sit back. And one of the things I like about Umat is that he works really hard to recover the ball. But on the creativity side, I have not seen much of that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying he should be benched. No. Umat is a starter at Chiefs any day of the week, right? So he should start. Definitely should start, right? But I'm saying if it continues, Uguti, creatively, we don't see him creating anything, then we have players who can do that, like Abo Machine. Because if it is Galaxy are sitting back and are looking to hit us on a break, then actually you don't need to have 2 people who are sort of defensively minded in Umat and Castillo. So you might as well sacrifice Umat if it is Galaxy sitting back, because we have seen teams being ambitious against the Chiefs and trying to attack them. So that's all I have to say. With the setup in midfield, I would like to see that happen. Even if they're still doing double pivot, Martin or Castillo, if they see no, this thing is not working and we need more creativity, don't be afraid to sacrifice Umat, take him out, because as much as he works hard defensively and it does combine the 2 passes here and there, but it doesn't have that thing that Umshini has, or that thing that a player like Umtutuzi Shabalala can do: carry the ball, take on people, run into the right spaces, and all of those things. That thing he cannot do to the level that the other players I've mentioned can do. And obviously Umtutuzi Mtanzana, I was impressed with him, the positions that he picked against Cape Town City, and his ability to find the pass on the ball when he's on the ball. Which brings us to our front line. Our front line, someone needs to be sacrificed tomorrow. So our front line last time was Botsane on the right, Modi on the left, and then Dupree through the middle. TS Galaxy sits back. You cannot do that to Dupree. Cannot play him centrally. Why am I saying that? If you play Dupree central against TS Galaxy, then what are you asking him to do, really? Because they are sitting back. There is no space for him to run into. And if he's wide, then he's taking on players. If he's wide, then if Castillo has the ball, Dupree starts a diagonal run into the box, and that's where he can cause damage. But if his starting position is central and the team is sitting deep and they can bully him, because we've already established Dupree is not the biggest of players, so it's easy for big defenders to bully him. But if he starts wide, then he kind of poses more of a threat, because when he has the ball and he's running at you, you have two things. It's either you find a way of winning the ball before it comes to him by pulling him body to body, or you now force, because Lomtu Akichim on pace and you have to stop him before Angene 18. So at least if he's wide, one, he can be dribbling people, taking people on. Two, he can be starting his runs from wide and going in. Three, he can be winning as fouls if he's causing trouble wide. And if he's through the middle, I've seen him disappear a lot of times in games because he's being played through the middle and the defenders are just doubling up on him, because you're playing a 4-2-3-1 Gwawena and you have one striker and you have two people around him and you have a 10 that is being occupied by a 6 of the other team. So basically through the middle, nothing is happening. So just play the ball wide and cause trouble from that side. And then hopefully this game should be Ranga's game, because if you're sacrificing between Upotsane and Omodi, then that means Dupree goes wide and one of those guys goes out, and then Uranga can be that reference point and do the thing that we're trying to do when we're playing against Cape Town City. Ranga has the ball, you play to him, he plays a 1-2 with Umtanzane, Dupree makes a run, Saile or Modi or Potsane, depending on who they start, makes that diagonal run. Now there are a lot of runs into the box and we are causing trouble in and around E18 ATS Galaxy. And the moment you do that, mistakes are bound to happen. But if you are forcing a small player to be the one holding the ball for Umtanzane, then you might just be in trouble. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, ETS Galaxy might come out guns blazing, and in that case, the system would still fit Dupree, because if there's space behind, then Dupree is going to do the things. Look at what he did in the game here, Cape Town. What's the name of the team? I don't know why I'm asking someone as if there's someone here. Against the Cape Town City, there was a space behind him, to finds him, and then he runs into that space. That's how Dupree operates. And also, even that run, he was being played as a number 9, but he started his run wide. So once again, you can clearly see Uguti, he's much more potent when he's running through from wide in and then scoring those goals. But in that case, Velege, it was a transition and there was a space. So whether it was through the middle or it was wide, that would have worked for him anyways. But we'll see how TS Galaxy sets up. But I really think Chiefs needs to win this game, and I think they will, because of the confidence that they got from the previous game. And obviously, the difference is that we're playing a completely different team, and that usually brings about change of tactics. We saw change of tactics and personnel. We saw against Sundowns, the coach just became too defensive, and I didn't get it, because I thought we should have built on what we did against the Chippa United and fixing those things. And now, once again, we're facing a different team. It would be interesting to see how the team sets up. How do you think the team will set up? Give me your own match predictions from tomorrow down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. And also, by the way, I have to say this. I'm making my videos longer, not on purpose, for those of you who watch. I make them longer because when I make these videos that are 8 minutes, I don't enjoy it. Guys. So I want to say what I want to say and communicate it in the best way that I see. And that means maybe talk longer, because, you know, if I'm rushing 8 minutes, I have to say 1, 2, and 3. I end up rushing myself, and I actually end up not enjoying making YouTube videos, because I feel like, oh, it should be as short as possible. If it's not as short as possible, no one's gonna watch. So I would rather speak my mind and for 18 to 20 minutes rather than just speak 8 minutes, because I'm trying to make sure that everyone watches. So I'm sorry for those of you who get offended by long videos. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals alpelu moya.